Welcome to the General's Gentleman.
Welcome to my second announcement video. This one is a bit more exciting in terms of what's actually happening. Long story short, I'm going to Canada in about 3 weeks. Which is actually less than I realized. 3 weeks, that's crazy. Yeah, so I'll be going to Canada. I'll be also going to, hopefully, this is the plan at least. I haven't quite sorted it all yet, but at least I'm planning on going to America for a couple of different places. So the reason why this is happening is because of the Relic Warpaint Championship. Basically, I'm going to be flying to Vancouver, Canada to shoutcast the grand final of the Warpaint Championship, which I've been doing for the past 2 months or so now, alongside Stormless. So that's going to be really fun. Basically, you know, we'll get a tour of the Relic studio, we'll be meeting all the developers, we'll be meeting the finalists, we'll be casting together in person, Stormless and I, for the second time. Bear in mind, I have actually met him when I was in Europe last year. So this is really exciting and it's really cool. However, unfortunately, the downside is that it's not going to be entirely paid for by Relic. And that was what was going to be hopefully the case, depending on whether or not Milestone 6 was hit of the Warpaint Championship. It was crowdfunded in a sense that they were selling skins, and like that, depending on how many skins were sold, certain milestones were unlocked that gave out various rewards, such as increasing the prize pool, and you know, getting flown out was number 6. So we didn't reach that, unfortunately. So basically, what happened is Relic gave us the option. They said, okay, well, unfortunately, we can't afford to pay for all of your trip for Stormless and yourself. You're more than welcome to just cast the grand final from home, like we have been doing for the past 2 months or so, and we're still getting. Either way, we would have got paid the amount for contracting for the shoutcasting. Or he said, alternatively, you know, we could actually fly out to Canada anyway, to Vancouver, have a really fun trip and such, but Relic wouldn't be able to cover all of the expenses, only, you know, a part of it. So we still, definitely, Stormless and I were very, very keen to do that, so we are doing that. It's happening. You know, it's such a great opportunity. There's no way we could pass it up. Meeting, you know, going to my favorite game studio like ever. I've been, you know, a fan of Relic games for 10 years. I think, you know, playing Impossible Creatures and Homeworld, and from there to what we have now at Company of Heroes 2. You know, and just being in person, you know, having a tour through the studio, meeting the devs, it's going to be really exciting. So we couldn't pass it up, right? So what I'm doing is I'm making a bit of a fundraiser attempt, doing some cool things and giving some rewards out, in order to raise some money for the trip. So, with this, I will be giving the exact numbers out because I think it's very important to disclose this information. So basically, but I'll talk about what I'm actually going to be doing and you know, what you can get out of it. So there is a website I've made, or a page rather I've made, possible.com. Links in the description. It's a bit too long to actually say and remember, but links in there. And basically, it's kind of like a GoFundMe / Kickstarter thing. It's a much nicer website than GoFundMe. GoFundMe looks really bad. It's really amateur. But with this, it's like it goes for a month, and there's a goal and there's a bunch of rewards and such. And I'm also going to be doing some tournaments as well, again to help fundraise money for this, to help cover the costs. So basically, I'll just give some rough numbers now, but before I do that, the thing is to bear in mind is that, you know, like paying for like half of a trip may not sound like a big deal, but the thing is about 4 months ago, I made the decision to leave my job and work on the channel full time, to follow my dream, to keep making videos every day, try and, you know, take shoutcasting more seriously, make more out of it. You know, maybe eventually get into the games industry down the line and get involved in development and such. So that's kind of why I'm doing this fundraiser, where, you know, if I was actually working a job, then it just wouldn't be an issue. I'd be able to afford it, no problems. And I can't afford it, and I'm going either way. It's just it'll be coming out of my savings, which I've built up from working in retail for a few years, and, you know, I need that to keep living. And if I run out of my savings, or rather it gets low, then I'll have to, of course, go out and get a job again, and that will slow down the rate of content. Since I've been doing YouTube full-time about 4 months ago, every single day there's been a video getting posted, as well as, you know, having more time for things like doing reviews and doing longer series. You know, I remember there was a time when we would post like a series in like 4 or 5 different videos, and now it's just like, you know, generally 2 parts if they're long. So, you know, I think better content, more content is happening. So I think, you know, for you guys, it's really good that I'm doing this full time if you're getting the content that you want. And of course, for me, obviously, you know, I have the time to do what I enjoy doing and what, you know, makes me happy, I suppose. Not to get too cheesy on you, but, yeah. So I'll go through, the figures and the rewards. Forgive me, this is a little scattershot. Basically, so for the contracting of Relic, that Stormless and I are getting paid, then this is, of course, I've talked to Carl, the community manager. He said, you know, I can disclose all this, it's not a problem. We are getting paid $500 USD for, it's about 2 months of shoutcasting, like every Sunday, so it's like 8 days or so of shoutcasting, probably a bit less than that, but anyway, so that's what we're getting paid, is $500 USD for the shoutcasting of the entire tournament. And then we're getting that regardless. And then if we were to go to Vancouver, which we decided to, then they would be able to subsidize a further $500 towards expenses and such. So basically, Relic are going to be paying me $1,000. However, the flight alone from Australia, which is not cheap, the flight alone is going to be $1,350. So already the flight will cost more than what I'm getting paid by Relic. Accommodation will be about $200 for Vancouver. And then after that, I'm planning to go to North Carolina to meet up with Cybit, CNC Cybit. If you guys remember him, legendary Command & Conquer caster who unfortunately isn't doing YouTube anymore. He's a very busy man now. He's like finished his degree and such. But anyway, I've been talking to him for years. He's a good friend of mine, so I would love to hang out with him. And we'll cast a lot of games together. We'll do some streams. It'll be a bunch of fun. There'll be some cool content out of that as well. And then, you know, maybe hoping to go I'm hoping to go to Los Angeles, LA, and hang out with Momo for show, who's also a cool dude that streams Company of Heroes, and hang out in there for a bit as well. So I have a lot of cool stuff planned. Just depends on the availability of them, and as well as how much I get, I suppose. Like, I'm definitely going to Vancouver, for sure. And yeah, LA, and it's kind of, I guess, a priority. It's like Vancouver's happening, and then below that, I really want to go to North Carolina to meet Cybit, then below that is LA. That's kind of like what I have planned anyway. So yeah, basically, I'm going to be down, you know, probably in total about $1,000 US dollars for the trip, which again, because I'm not earning much, because, you know, all of my income is coming from Patreon, mainly Patreon, and then there's a little bit of ad revenue, but not too much. So very grateful to our Patreon backers that have allowed me to go at this rate, at least, and Blake as well, of course, doesn't need to invest as much time to the channel because I do all the editing and all the production and such. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm hoping to raise, but, you know, if not, that's fine, obviously. So with the Possible is, you know, there's a target. It's like Kickstarter. That's $350. So that will cover the flight, you know, at least the flight, and any more will go towards covering everything else. So on Possible, at least, there's going to be a few rewards. $5 you can get you get your name read out, and I do a big video where I thank everyone. $20 you get a replay casted, so it will give you feedback and advice on whatever RTS game that we cover. Or if it's just a really exciting match, then you want us to cast it, then we'll definitely do that for you. $30 you can get a signed letter written by Blake and I. You get our autograph and such. And then at $60 you get a shirt, one of these shirts sent out. So that's a good way of getting something back, as well as obviously supporting us. So that's going to be cool. Link for that, of course, in the description. Check that out. And the other things that I'll be doing is the tournaments. 2 tournaments for Command & Conquer 0 Hour 1.6, well, like one tournament for that, and the other tournament is for my Company of Heroes 2 mod, the GGMod, which I've been working on, which I announced yesterday, and really well received. There's been a bunch of people that have already played and already reported some bugs, which I've already fixed, so it's really cool to have that feedback. So for the 2 tournaments, there's a challenge link for both of those. Challenge is like the bracket website, and that has all of the information there. The date is the 24th of Saturday at 3 p.m. GMT for the 0 Hour tournament, and the KO2 tournament is the next day, 25th of September on the Sunday, again 3 p.m. GMT. That's for the Company of Heroes 2 mod. All the info for the mod is ggmod.com. That has all the links there. So to sign up, to sign up for the tournament, what you need to do is you need to pay the minimum $10 entry fee, of which half of that goes towards the prize pool, which the winners win, and then the other half of the entry fee goes towards the fundraising of the tournament. So to sign up, you need to pay the entry fee to the PayPal, which will be linked in the description, and then just please leave your name and you want to enter the tournament and such. But then you also need to fill out a Google form that just verifies you're entering, just so I have a very clear idea of who's actually going to be entering. It'll make it a lot easier, and that's where I ask for your email address or your Steam, so I can track everyone down and make sure we're all communicated and ready to go. So if you want to sign up, again, you got to pay the entry fee to PayPal and then sign up to the Google form, and then I'll make the brackets with all the players. Of course, you don't have to enter the tournament if you just want to back the prize pool and contribute to the fundraiser. So any help would be greatly appreciated. I know a lot of people have been wanting us to run a tournament for a while. And 1.6 is going to be a bunch of fun. I absolutely love 1.6. We haven't casted it in a criminally long time, so it'd be really cool to get some more games of that. So yeah, if you're interested and you want to help us out, then check out the Possible link. If you want to enter the tournaments, and have a look through the challenge pages, because that then has all the information and has the links to the sign up and the PayPal and whatnot. So yeah, I hope this video wasn't a bit too scattershot. I mean, there's kind of a lot of different things related. But essentially, yeah, long story short, I'm going on a trip. It'll cost me a fair bit of money, which I don't have a lot of because I made the decision to make YouTube videos full time, which I know you guys love, but it doesn't earn me a lot of money particularly. So that's why I'm hoping to get the support of our viewers, but in a way that at least you get some cool things out of it. You get a tournament, you get potentially a replay cast and such. So at least it's a fun thing, right? But anyway, thanks for watching. Any help would of course be greatly appreciated. I'm really looking forward to the trip. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, well, what more is there to say? I'll see you next time, and make sure you tune in to the stream, and see you next time. Cheers. The combat engineers in the middle have to be very careful as they do retreat now, but it's just a really good unit mix from Findeed. He has Maxims, he has Mortars, he's got some Conscripts, he has Guards, Flamers. He has really everything he needs right now. And Red Wings, he has gone for his Battle Group HQ, so he has the Medics. It's always one of the downsides of going for the mechanized playstyle, is you then lose access to your Medics, so you pretty much have to go for that one, which then means it delays your Panzer headquarters, so it's a lot longer to get a medium tank on the field, which then it leaves a few options for Red Wings. Maybe he'll go for the Scavenge Ostwind instead of taking up to his Panzer headquarters. We've seen that pretty much all the time during the Warpaint Championship, as the OKW players rushing at the Ostwinds as fast as possible. It gives you really good map control.
He is holding himself back from selecting a commander. Right now, though, I mean, like you were saying, he is struggling a little bit, because I'm looking at the tab here with all of his units, right, and he's only got 4 active infantry units, if we don't count the machine gun. And losing that Kugelwagen, you were touching upon this as well, Callum, is the fact that his capping power isn't really all that great, and he might actually lose his squad in mid. He needs to be very careful. 2 men remaining, they will have to get out of there. But yeah, he's only got these squads that he's working with, and they constantly have to stay in combat, because otherwise he loses control of these points throughout mid and towards the flanks. So, I don't know, would making a second Kugelwagen here be viable at all here for Red Wings, perhaps?
No, not with the guards, with the Su-76, with the conscripts that have the AT grenades. We actually had the MG-34 got wiped. Look near the munitions house. Not sure what happened there, but that can get recaptured by the conscripts very easily. Su-76 will be trading against the Puma. There's actually a cloaked Raketten. Is it not facing the right direction? Yeah, it's facing downwards. So it's refacing now. It has a nice shot off here. It's within the mid of the arc, so maybe he will lose his 76 if he doesn't back away.
Oh!
Puma's going in for the kill, loses it. Man, good rotation with the Puma. Had the extra shot in there. The Su-76 down is a nice little win for Red Wings, but he still will need a lot more than that.
Yeah, loses the Raketten in the process, but I mean, that's definitely the trade you want to take. He can recap that, and then that's going to be all fine and dandy. Regardless, still, Findeed maintaining control of the munitions VP house. He hasn't captured the machine gun yet. I would like to see him do that, but there we go. Regain control of the Raketten. He starts dropping a couple of shells on the church as well. And now finally we see an anti-tank gun being squeezed out here from Findeed, who again just continuously relentless with capping everything on the flanks here. So that's so annoying to deal with. But Red Wings is still staying in this, and now he's got his 4th command truck out. Or supply half track out, so he could go for that tier 4.
A huge misplay here though from Findeed. He's leaving the MG-34. Does he not know it's there? Maybe he doesn't realize it. His conscripts, they walked away from that to the VP, and as a result now, it's a free MG that Findeed doesn't have, and perhaps Red Wings will recapture. And this house near the left is very weak, so the guards are not going in that purposefully, which is very clever because even a single Puma shot could actually just destroy that building and lose the guard squad inside of it. Maybe even the PTRS.
Yeah, mortar fire is on as well, and they've got the ISG, so I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that could potentially kill that. He did dance in and out there just very quickly to get that vision, which I really like small micro plays like that. But for now, I mean, the game has sort of stabilized as both players bide their time, but there's always going to be someone, you know, poking, looking for that information, because I feel that that's something that's very underrated in this game, is just scouting. You know, you can see the general timings of when your opponents are teching and stuff like that. Like, for instance, if Findeed can find this tier 4 going down, then that's going to be a huge pickup, but he's actually dropping a couple of shots there on the supply half track. He's got him making good use of that pack. But he's being pushed away on the right-hand side. There is a demo charge, but we do have the Stone Pioneers with the mine detectors, so
nice.
They will be able to find them. Not going to be walking into those, but still, dropping more fire onto the supply half-track. It's getting very low.
Guards are going in for the kill here. He's going to get blocked off by the mech truck. He shouldn't be able to finish this one off, though, but man, risky plays there. Actually, it's stationary. The guard's going for the kill. The flak half-track's opening up, and the suppression comes through, so the guards will survive. Is it the baits of all baits? He drops the PTRS. So perhaps the next level plays there. Bear in mind the Puma can get one model down guaranteed with the aimed shot. So all he has to do is kill one model of the guards, and then the second model will drop to the aimed shot. But it actually survives that one. So not going to be a guard squad going down. But notice how the Stone Pioneers picked up the PTRS. Volks with the STGs don't have any free weapon slots.
No, that's true. Trying to get on top of that AT gun though, but with a machine gun in the church should be able to get suppression, but not before he gets the incendiary grenade off. Is going to force that mortar out of there. ISG still dropping rounds on top of the guys in the church as another conscript squad comes up to reinforce it. But if we look at the mini-map right now, Callum, control is slowly getting wrestled out of the hands of Red Wings here. He's starting to struggle in terms of map control.
We have the T-34-85 being built by Findeed, a very, very strong tank there. It has a lot of health. It's very durable against the Raketten and the Puma especially. It also has pretty good anti-infantry, so I think it's the perfect unit in this situation, and Red Wings doesn't have any counter for it.
Now, how much fuel? He's got 174 fuel, but he hasn't started his tier 4 yet. I mean, that in its own right is going to be a very expensive investment. What is that? I think it's 120 fuel. And then after that, I mean, he won't be able to squeeze out anything really, so he is in a bit of a pickle, so to speak. Loses a Raketten as well. He's going to cap it, and he's going to try to get away with it, but I don't think he will. 2 men remaining, but the suppression from the MG! He's actually going to be able to get away with the Raketten,
wow.
And that's something that he would definitely have needed now as that T-34 hits the field.
Very, very lucky break there from Findeed. He was on the negative cover with such a low engineer squad, and yet the Sturm Pioneers couldn't get the crew down because of that suppression. So, man, it must be frustrating here for Red Wings, having to rebuild that Raketten. He currently has 0 AT. All he has is a Puma. That being said, though, he built a second Sturm Pioneer squad, likely going to be for the Panzer Shrek upgrade.
Don't forget that he's got an AT rifle, but
oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
not going to do too much, is it?
It's a shame that you got the PTRS on the squad with the sweeper rather than on the same squad with the Shrek.
Oh, but as we say, they might lose it. No, it's going to get away. We'll get out of there with his life.
To take note of is LMGs have a pretty bad aim fire delay, so they don't. Well, nade comes through from the guards, but behind the heavy cover does half damage, so the Volk's not taking too much there, but we'll have to retreat anyway. So, because there's an aim fire delay on the LMGs, it means that if the guards, whatever squad it is, if they have to pivot to actually aim, they don't do very well at the retreating squad.
All of these small things that I'm learning, man, from you.
Yeah, I'm trying to be extra helpful in terms of just dropping all these knowledge bombs. But you noticed that.
I do appreciate. Yeah, I am. I appreciate the knowledge blitz, my friend. If I can call it that.
Yeah. Other than that, though, the Puma aimed shot, it will be able to get the turret lock on the T-34, and no turret lock. Sorry, actually disables the main gun for a few seconds. So it's a really great utility unit to have. It makes a big contribution in tank battles if you have something else that actually can absorb the damage and deal the damage out. So having that Puma, it can really scale into the late game for utility, but it is actually quite easy to keep alive as well. It's obviously a squishy unit, but because it has its smoke, it has such a fast acceleration. It's very swift and very nimble. So long as you don't make any key mistakes, you can just keep that Puma alive.
Yeah, no, bear in mind as well, I think that the if I'm not mistaken here, the 50mm gun has got pretty good range as well. Big infantry push out through the mid though. There is no machine gun here right now for Findeed to provide coverage for his troops, so he's going to be able to he's going to be forced to pull out of there, and this is going to be a great move here for Red Wings to get some control back. The T-34 though from the backlines providing a lot of suppressive fire here, so he's already forced one squad to retreat. At the same time, he is capping up towards the right hand side, towards the south. There is a machine gun there suppressing that squad, but there's a Puma rolls on and he needs to be so careful because there's that Raketten that he lost previously.
Raketten for Raketten here in the middle. T-34 will take a couple of shots, and still the MG-34 is there. Hopefully Findeed realizes it. He has two squads of engineers pretty much on top of it. They're going to be trading against the Volks. Two Flamers is definitely an effective combination. Volks almost going down there to the Zis crew of all things, if not the combat engineer rifleman, but loses not his squad, just a few models. Pretty good user preservation so far from Red Wings. He's lost, I think, one squad of Sturm Pioneers, the Raketten and an MG. That's not too bad for 25 minutes into the game thus far. And I wonder what Findeed goes for as his second tank. He probably will go for another T-34, maybe even a Katusha would be a good choice.
I think Katusha would be an excellent supplement here to his force, because it'll give him really good AoE long range artillery, and in general all of these supply trucks, they're fairly clumped up. I don't know if he's spotted the battle group headquarters, but if he could catch Red Wings, for instance, on the retreat with a Katusha, that would be just absolutely devastating. And bear in mind as well, as you can see, he's still being able to control all of the fuel at all these times for such a long period. And, it's really starting to hurt Red Wings. He's still got the 138 fuel, but he hasn't really decided to tech in any direction. He hasn't gotten any additional armor, no tank destroyer, no nothing. Is he saving for a Panther here? Or what's the plan?
Not sure. The Panzer IV probably wouldn't be a good choice because it can't deal with the T-34-85. The T-34 has more health, it has better penetration, so it'll win the one-up fight. I suppose he has the Puma still, so if he combos the Panzer IV with the Puma and a cloaked Raketten, then perhaps. But he may just be going for a Panther. But that being said, though, he actually has the Sturm Tiger available. He locked in the elite armored, so it's a pretty weird commander in that all of the abilities, apart from Signal Relay, are pretty bad. It's just the Sturm Tiger is so good. But he already went for his Panzer headquarters, so it's not a really efficient use of fuel. If he's gonna go for the Sturm Tiger call-in, then perhaps he should have gone for a Stuka from the Tier 2, and then gone for the Sturm Tiger, rather than teching up and not building anything out of it.
Yeah, because it's kind of just sitting there. More than anything, it's just a very fancy static defense tool that's currently getting shelled right now. But he will be able to get on top of it. Is he going to be able to actually take down that 80 gun? That would be a good little win if he can even capture that, because that's going to help out a lot versus the 2 T-34s that have hit the field. But this munitions point, all of these units are very exposed. They will have to get out of there. Every single squad that Red Wings would be losing at this point in time is definitely going to hurt him. And even the 80 gun getting out of there with its life. So again, he's not really getting the best rolls when it comes down to it. And these T-34s, man, 2 of them now, going to be so strong. But it is going to be that Sturm Tiger, like you said. So we'll see if this is going to be able to level the playing field a little bit.
A very nice unit, but it's inconsistent. It'll come down to whether or not can Red Wings land the money shot. Loses the Rocket in the middle here, so once again, Red Wings losing this valuable AT that he's really relying upon. I like how he has the Sturm Tiger behind the house. It's actually going to be a bit of a shot blocker. So if we look at the vision of Findy, he doesn't have any eyes on this Sturm Tiger, but look at the house near the munitions point. This STG Volk getting very low here. Trading pretty effectively though, but the ISG almost takes out his own squad. The mortar will crumble the house, but the Volks survive. And the Rocket in the middle is actually destroyed.
Oh yeah, so like, how many, what do we see? Okay, he remade another Rocket, but I think he should definitely try to squeeze out another one if he has the money for it, but his manpower is very low. There's actually a bit of a bank here as well though for Findeed, so you know, if he loses one T-34, he could definitely go ahead and replace that one, or like we were talking about a little bit previously, perhaps squeeze out a Katyusha. I don't know exactly how many supply Katyushas. That's going to be 12, so no, yeah, he could actually go exactly for a Katyusha if he decides to not reinforce 2 of those squads.
I'm just keeping my vision on Findeed because I want to see how the Sturm Tiger reveals itself. It's revealed now. There we go. I'm not sure what revealed it exactly, but something revealed it. It's definitely available now. Oh man, those Volks. Oh, Sturm Tiger fires.
Ooh. Well, gets down the 80 gun, but right as we were, you know, getting excited over that, one of those Volk squads did go down in mid to these T-34s.
Something that's really impressive to see from Findy, what he's actually doing is using the mortar to use the beacon, I believe it's called, the flare rather, the flare, and that reveals the Panzer headquarters. So what that does is it gives his Zis gun much better accuracy since the Panzer headquarters is revealed. You can use the attack ground, but if you're actually got vision and you're attacking it directly, you'll have a much higher accuracy rate. So when it comes to trying to destroy a Panzer headquarters or any other similar unit, what you really want to do is get vision for it somehow.
That's very true. As you can see, Panzer headquarters is quite low on health. And, I mean, he's been trying, Red Wings that is, to counteract the mortars and all of the infantry moving around with his ISG, but it hasn't really had as much of an effect as he was hoping. MG suppressing the guys here towards the left VP down to the south. And, I mean, he will be able to actually force that away, so he's going to buy himself a little bit of time. Stop that counter. And now the Sturm Tiger has reloaded as well, but still, Findeed in absolute control of the map.
Man, another squad of Volks go down to the T-34s. They were pretty clumped up, trying to wipe with the Maxim and chasing around the corner of the hedge there, but now that's going to be all of the vetted infantry here from Red Wings. He has a new squad of Vet 0 Volks, but no way they can trade against the guards, and especially with his T-34s on the field. Getting a bit of veterancy to their name as well, one of which on his way to the Vet 2. This game is looking pretty over to me. The Panzer headquarters is still very low, could go down any moment. The double T-34s in particular could probably just rotate over and kill that very quickly.
Yeah, there's not really a lot here in terms of anti-tank. He's got the Puma, and then he's got that Raketenwerfer, that's it. The Sturm Tiger, by the way, he actually fired towards mid, but he didn't hit anything, so that again, you know, that's going to be another half a minute of downtime. And I honestly don't think Red Wings has... He can't really afford giving up 30 seconds of time. So T-34 does hit the mines, So that is going to slow that down for a little bit here, but regardless, I mean, Findeed, he's still got total map control. He's going to be able to easily go and grab that VP to the south. And Red Wings, I mean, he's running out of steam, or he's actually been running on fumes for the past, like, 10-15 minutes.
Third T-34, Findeed can swarm that Sturm Tiger so easily, especially with the marked target. One Raketten for support, and of course, don't forget, the one PTRS. Not going to be enough here, you're going to need significantly more than that. And doesn't even have the Shrek on his second Sturm Pioneers, he's just got another sweeper, so maybe he's a bit concerned about all the mines, all the demos, as we have two Vet 3 engineers, so much better unit preservation here from Findeed, and the Rakettens trying to do some damage against the T-34, but getting quite low to those machine guns, and actually the T-34 on the middle road here, it's still quite vulnerable, gets hit by the turret lock from the Puma. Sturm Tiger can finish this one off.
He's still got the damage on the engine. Here we go, Sturm Tiger. And takes out one of the T-34s in explosive fashion. But the second one hits the field here to take its place. That's sort of, you know, the mantra of the Russians, right? For everything that goes down, we'll build 10 more of them and send them out in the field. And he's staying true to that. 50 VPs remaining, and he doesn't have a single one in control right now. Red Wings, he's on the line.
Yeah, it's sad to see, and he did so well in the early game, and then he just didn't use his fuel properly. He went for the Puma, which it's nice in theory, but when your opponent just doesn't go for any light vehicles, when they instead just go for an infantry heavy play style, it just wasn't the best choice of fuel. And I think especially his teching was really bad, because he went for his Panzer headquarters, as I mentioned earlier, then he went for a Sturm Tiger, where instead he could have gone maybe even for a Panzer II and then into a Sturm Tiger, or a Stuka into a Sturm Tiger. Yeah, it could have a few options that would have given him much better utility. Maybe even the Ostwind may have been a good choice. You often see a lot of OKW players go Ostwind and a lot of Rakettens, and you just rely on the Rakettens for AT and have the Ostwinds that actually do the infantry damage. But at the moment here, the VPs will tick down. Sturm Tiger just didn't have an impact. It wiped a Zisgun and now a Raketten, but not enough. Not enough, Tenchi.
Yeah. GG, and Findeed is going to pick up the first game in this best out of 3 series. But regardless, you know, like, I think that what we were talking about there, like the inefficiency with the fuel, really a decisive factor in this game. Because not only do I agree that Panzer II would have been better, even if I love the Puma to bits, and then, you know, spending the 120 fuel on that Panzer headquarters, like you said, like, why not go for the Panzer II, and then you go for the walking Stuka, and then after that you could have followed up with the Sturm Tiger, for instance, because he did have the fuel for it. I mean, if you do the calculation to get all of those things in that order. So I don't know why he was doing that, because it didn't fill any role. He just put those 120 that was literally just 120 fuel sitting there waiting to be killed.
Actually, not even, bro. It's 135 fuel when you consider the truck as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that's what, 2 Panzer IIs?
Yeah, because there's 70 fuel.
130. Panzer II is 65 fuel. Yeah, so 100. That's
even.
Two Panzer IIs as far as fuel is concerned. But yeah, I think if you maybe were to go, because one thing as well with this commander choice is when you go Puma, you have a lot of really great anti-vehicle, and then you often see OKW players then supplement that Puma by going for a commander that has really good elite infantry call-ins. So if you go Jaegers or Fallschirmjägers, or even if you want to be a bit of a mad dog, you could go for the Panzer Fusiliers. So then you have the really strong elite infantry squads that can trade much more effectively against guards and cons especially. But then you have the Puma supporting that with the anti-vehicle, where by going the elite armored, you don't have any elite troops, and then you don't have any vehicles to support the infantry engagements. So I just think Red Wings is a good player, but yeah, he just didn't have really good strategy this game. He didn't quite think out what he was going for.
No, because I mean, if we compare the two forces, Findid's army was just a lot more well-rounded, and we even saw this like in the mid-game as the first T-34 hit the field, or rather when the Su-76 hit the field. He had that. He did lose it a little clumsily with an overextension, but he had that, which not only gives him artillery, it gives him sufficient anti-tank. He had the machine guns, he had the mortar, and he had all of these squads roaming around the map, and then of course the guards with the DP-28s and the PTRSs. So his army was very well-rounded, it was very flexible. But on the other side, we had with Red Wings, I mean, sure, he had the infantry, so you could take a good engagement in an infantry to infantry fight, but you have to consider that there were so many different support elements on the Soviet side of things that the Germans just didn't have at that time, and it really came to hurt him. And then after that, it just snowballed out of control.
Nice. Well, I think that'll wrap this one up for now, unless you have any last words.
I don't think so, man. Thank you very much for having me on.
No, it's been good. I don't know if I'll end up posting this video or not, but if I do, make sure you go over, follow Tenchi at Tenchi SC2. Is that it?
Yes, sir. That's the one.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll return with some more Company of Heroes 2 videos. We have a few other to get done eventually. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.